All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to explore a really profound idea called Prajnaparamita, which translates to the perfection of wisdom. And we're going to do it through this amazing story of a master and his student. A story that really cuts to the core of what meditation is all about. And maybe more importantly, what it's not. So right off the bat, the master hits us with his pretty stark warning. This one sentence perfectly sets up the problem we're looking at today. It's about this incredibly common and kind of dangerous trap in any kind of spiritual practice, where we start to mistake feeling comfortable and spaced out for actual progress. It's a really subtle pitfall, one that's super easy to fall into.
Okay, so picture this. Our story kicks off with this senior disciple. Now, this guy has been practicing hard for a solid week, and he comes to his master just beaming. He's totally convinced he's had this massive breakthrough, a brand new insight into how everything works. He genuinely thinks he's cracked the code.
So the master asks him, okay, explain it to me. And the disciple lays out his definition of Prajnaparamita. He says it's all about achieving emptiness, no form, and no desires. And, on the surface, that sounds pretty good, right? It's the textbook answer, straight out of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Can't argue with that. But you can tell the master isn't quite buying it. He sees this gap between having the recipe and actually tasting the food. He sees the words, but not the wisdom. So to kind of test this, he switches gears and challenges the disciple to connect that book knowledge to another famous text, the Heart Sutra. And here it is, the million-dollar question. The master brings up the 5 aggregates, form, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness. He's basically saying, let's bring this down from the clouds. Let's talk about the actual stuff that makes up your experience moment to moment. This is where theory is about to meet a brick wall of reality. And the disciple does exactly what you'd expect. He recites the definition he memorized in school. But the master's comeback is just brutal and immediate. Entirely wrong. Ouch. He calls it the speculation of bookworms. He's drawn a massive, bold line in the sand between knowing about a thing and truly knowing it from the inside out.
So now that he's completely smashed the disciple's intellectual sandcastle, the master is ready to build something new in its place, something based on real practice, not just theories. And he's about to flip the script entirely on what those 5 aggregates even are. He's going to reframe them as 5 different kinds of delusion.
And this is the key. The master redefines them. Consciousness isn't just being aware, it's the super subtle illusion that even highly evolved beings, bodhisattvas, have to deal with. Formation is the tendency to label and judge things, something even enlightened arhats work with. And perception, that's the web of attachments that traps most of us. So he's laying them out as a kind of ladder of delusion that we all have to climb down.
And boom, here's the big aha moment where it all clicks together. Remember the disciple's definition? Emptiness, non-form, non-desire? It wasn't wrong, it was just flat. He didn't understand the why. Now we see it. Each one is a specific medicine for a specific problem. Emptiness is the antidote to illusion. Non-form is the antidote to discrimination. And non-desire is the antidote to attachment. It's a perfect, practical roadmap.
So, to put it another way, the real perfection of wisdom isn't a clever idea you can write an essay about. It's a lived-in reality. It's the actual state you're in when all those delusions just don't have a hold on you anymore. And now, the master brings all this high-level philosophy right down to what's happening on the meditation cushion. He's zeroing in on the real-time danger his student is in. This isn't just a friendly chat anymore. It's a full-on spiritual intervention.
The trap the disciple has fallen into is called seated forgetfulness. And look, it probably feels amazing, super relaxed, totally peaceful, so zoned out you might not even feel your body anymore. But the master is crystal clear. This isn't wisdom. This is just a dull, sleepy state. You've turned the lights off when the whole point is to turn them up. And to really hammer this point home, the master shows just how deep this attachment thing goes. The disciple thinks non-desire means not wanting a new car. But the master takes it way further. He says, okay, try not desiring to blink, or how about not desiring your next breath? Even the very decision to sit down and meditate comes from a desire. True non-desire is way more radical than just wanting less stuff.
And there it is, the final diagnosis. The master just holds up a mirror and says it plain as day. That state you're so proud of, that amazing breakthrough you think you're having, you're basically just taking a nap.
You've mistaken being comfortable for being enlightened. So if that comfy, zoned out state is the wrong way, what's the right way? Well, the master introduces the true goal of meditation, a state called samadhi. And here's the kicker. It's not about escaping reality at all. It's about being fully, totally, and vibrantly present with it. This is what real practice looks like. It's not about building a wall to block things out. It's about taking the walls down and letting everything in, all at once, without getting lost in any of it. Your mind is sharp. You're aware of every sound, every sensation on your skin, the feeling of your own breathing, all of it happening right now. It's total, unified awareness. And the master doesn't just leave it at that. He gives the disciple a concrete, step-by-step technique to jolt him awake. He tells him to focus on multiple things at once, recite the Buddha's name in his head, feel the cold air on his skin, and feel the warmth circulating inside his body. You try doing all that at once. It's impossible to be sleepy. It forces the mind to get sharp, engaged, and incredibly alert. So if you take just one thing away from this whole story, let it be this. The goal isn't to find a nice, quiet, comfortable escape from life. The real goal is to build a mind that is so incredibly sharp, so totally present, and so powerfully alert that it can see reality exactly as it is, without all the filters of our own delusions. And that leaves us with a really good question to ask ourselves. Whatever our practice might be, meditation, art, work, anything, is it making us more alert, more awake, and more alive? Or are we just using it to find a comfortable place to zone out? The answer to that question, well, it makes all the difference in the world.